All right, time to dive in. Today, we're looking at Apollo Hospitals Enterprise Ltd. And their second quarter results for fiscal year 2025. We've got it all. Financial statements, investor presentations, those auditor reports, the whole 9 yards. We're going to break it down for you. By the end, you'll have a solid grasp on how Apollo is doing and what that means for the future of healthcare in India.
It really is a fascinating case study. There's so much to cover.
Absolutely. Okay, first off, Apollo Hospitals, they're a pretty big deal in the Indian healthcare scene.
Yeah, they're the largest pan-India hospital chain. We're talking a vast network, 73 hospitals, over 10,000 beds.
Wow, that's a lot of beds. Definitely not a small player. So, what's their strategy? Any particular focus in healthcare?
Well, they have this smart blend of owned and managed hospitals, gives them flexibility. They've also got the day surgery centers. Those are becoming more and more popular. And even some international presence with managed hospitals in Bahrain and Bangladesh.
It's like a global healthcare empire. Speaking of empires, they're not just concentrated in one area, right?
Nope, not at all. Strong presence in major metropolitan areas, of course. But they're also expanding into Tier 1 and 2 cities, reaching a wider patient base, tapping into new markets.
Ambitious. And ambition usually means growth. What's the story with their financial performance?
In Q2, their revenue jumped 15%, reaching a total of $55,893 million. But here's the really interesting part. EBITDA. That basically shows their profit from core operations, shot up by 30%, not just growing, but becoming more profitable.
Okay, that's impressive. But what does that actually mean for someone like me, someone without an MBA in finance?
It means Apollo's in a really strong position financially. They're making money, which means more resources. They can invest in new tech, expand services, maybe even offer more competitive pricing. Good news for everyone, not just investors.
Good news for patients, too. Let's dive deeper into their segments. Healthcare services is their main business, right? How's that performing?
14% growth in revenue in Q2 for healthcare services. More people are choosing Apollo. We see that reflected in the 8% increase in inpatient volume. And they're doing more complex procedures, too. Usually means higher revenue. Their price and case mix went up by 6%.
More patients, more complex procedures. They must be busy.
Their hospitals are definitely bustling. Occupancy rate, that tells us how full they are, hit 73%, higher than last year. Strong demand and efficient use of their facilities.
Okay, so their core hospital business is doing great. But they're not just sticking to hospitals, are they? They have that AHLL thing, right?
Right. AHLL, Apollo Health and Lifestyle Limited. Think about it this way. You need a blood test, a quick checkup. Don't want to go to a big hospital. That's where AHLL comes in. Out-of-hospital care. Outpatient clinics, diagnostics, day surgery centers.
Bringing healthcare closer to people, making it more convenient.
Exactly. Smart move, because the primary care market in India is huge, but fragmented. They're organizing it. Massive opportunity. And it's working. Revenue grew by 14% in Q2, reached $4,039 million. And the kicker, EBITDA increased by a whopping 30%.
Wow, that's incredible. Expanding their reach and getting more efficient, more profitable at the same time. Now, gotta talk digital health. Apollo's pretty big there too, right?
Absolutely. Through Apollo Health Co., they've created India's largest omni-channel healthcare platform, over 36 million registered users, and a staggering 771,000 daily active users.
That's more users than some social media platforms. What exactly does this platform do?
It connects consumers with a network of 6,228 pharmacies, provides various healthcare services, booking appointments, virtual consultations with doctors, ordering meds, even tracking health data.
Seamlessly blending physical and digital healthcare.
Precisely. And the best part, HealthCo achieved profitability in Q2. They had a loss the previous year. Shows how well they've optimized costs and boosted revenue.
Talk about a comeback story. Now, I know they've been investing strategically and expanding quite a bit. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, one of the biggest things is the investment by Advent International and Apollo Health Co. Huge deal, 2,475 crores. Really shows confidence in Apollo's digital health strategy.
It wasn't just about the money, though, right? There was a strategic element, too.
You're right. Part of this, they integrated Kimed Private Limited, leading player in wholesale pharmaceutical distribution. This merger is expected to boost their earnings per share right from the start. Great sign for investors.
So smart strategic moves, not just throwing money around, but with all this focus on finance and expansion, are they keeping up with medical advancements?
Absolutely. Apollo is known for its clinical excellence, always pushing boundaries in healthcare innovation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about what they're doing on the cutting edge.
Well, their main hospital in Chennai just hit a major milestone. They've completed over 6,000 Da Vinci robotic surgeries.
6,000. Wow, that's incredible. Robotic surgery sounds pretty futuristic. What's so special about the Da Vinci system?
It's a minimally invasive surgical system. Lets surgeons perform complex procedures with incredible precision and control. Smaller incisions, less pain, faster recovery times for patients.
That's amazing. So it's not just about fancy robots, it's about real benefits for the patients. What other cutting-edge treatments are they exploring?
Their cancer center in Chennai has also been making headlines with CAR T cell therapy. They recently used this revolutionary treatment on a young patient from Oman who had relapsed acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
I've heard about CAR T-cell therapy, but to be honest, it sounds a bit like science fiction. Can you break it down for me?
It's a groundbreaking immunotherapy. It uses the patient's own immune system to fight cancer. They basically modify the patient's T cells to target and destroy cancer cells.
So they're like super-powered immune cells programmed to attack the cancer? That's incredible.
It is. And Apollo is leading the way in this field, giving hope to patients who may have had very limited options before.
That's truly remarkable. What about other advancements? Are they exploring any other new technologies?
They're also making waves with proton beam therapy. They've completed over 100 procedures now. This is a highly targeted form of radiation therapy, incredibly effective for treating certain cancers while minimizing damage to the surrounding healthy tissue.
So it's like a laser-focused weapon against cancer, minimizing collateral damage.
Exactly. It's especially beneficial for children and patients with tumors located near vital organs.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I also read that they're using 3D printing in some really innovative ways.
You're right. They're using 3D printing for jawbone reconstruction and even joint replacements. It lets them create custom-designed implants and prosthetics perfectly tailored to the patient's anatomy.
It's like they're printing personalized body parts. Okay, so on top of all this, they're also performing a high volume of kidney and liver transplants. Over 270 kidney transplants and 75 liver transplants in Q2 alone.
That's right. It's all part of their mission to provide comprehensive, world-class healthcare services.
So they're covering all their bases. We've covered their financials, their strategic expansion plans, digital health initiatives, and their commitment to clinical excellence. It's a pretty impressive picture of a company that's not just thriving, but actually shaping the future of healthcare in India.
I agree. It's this holistic approach that makes them such a fascinating case study.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to bring it back to you, the listener. We've seen how Apollo is strategically positioned to capitalize on the trends shaping the future of healthcare. But what does this mean for you? How might this impact your access to healthcare, the quality of care you receive, or even the cost?
That's a great question, and it's one that each of us should be thinking about. As technology advances and healthcare becomes more data-driven and personalized, we have a lot to gain, but we also need to be aware of the potential challenges.
Like data privacy and ensuring equal access to these advancements.
Exactly. It's a complex landscape. But Apollo's journey offers valuable insights into what the future of healthcare could look like, and it's a future that we'll all be a part of.
Well said. So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Apollo Hospitals Enterprise Ltd. We hope you've gained a better understanding of this incredible company and what their success means for the future of healthcare, not just in India, but potentially around the world. Stay curious, keep learning, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.
Yeah, their flagship hospital in Chennai, they just hit a pretty remarkable milestone. They've completed, get this, over 6,000 Da Vinci robotic surgeries.
6,000? Wow, that's incredible. Robotic surgery, it sounds so futuristic. What's so special about the Da Vinci system?
Well, it's a minimally invasive surgical system. Basically, lets surgeons perform really complex procedures, but with, incredible precision and control. So think smaller incisions, less pain for the patient, and faster recovery times.
That's amazing. So not just like fancy robots, it's really about tangible benefits for the patients. What other cutting-edge treatments are they exploring?
Their cancer center in Chennai, it's been making headlines. They've been using CAR T cell therapy. They actually recently used this revolutionary treatment on a young patient from Oman who had relapsed B, acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
I've heard about CAR T-cell therapy, but I'll admit, it sounds a bit like science fiction to me. Can you break it down, like in a way that even I can understand?
Sure. It's a groundbreaking type of immunotherapy.
Yeah.
It uses the patient's own immune system to actually fight cancer. So they modify the patient's T cells, and they target and destroy the cancer cells.
So it's like Superpowered immune cells programmed to attack the cancer. That's amazing.
It is. And Apollo is, really leading the way in this, giving hope to patients who might not have had many options before.
That's truly remarkable. Okay, what about other advancements? Any other new technologies they're exploring?
Well, they're also doing a lot with proton beam therapy. They've completed over 100 procedures. And this is a highly targeted type of radiation therapy. Very effective for certain cancers. It minimizes damage to the surrounding healthy tissue.
So it's like a laser-focused weapon against cancer, minimizing like collateral damage.
Exactly. It's particularly beneficial for children and patients with tumors, near vital organs.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I also read that they're using 3D printing in some pretty innovative ways.
Yeah, that's right. They're using 3D printing for things like jawbone reconstruction and even joint replacements. It allows them to create like custom designed implants and prosthetics
Yeah.
that are, perfectly matched to the patient.
It's like they're printing personalized body parts. Okay, so on top of all that, they're also doing a ton of kidney and liver transplants, over 270 kidney transplants and 75 liver transplants, just in Q2 alone.
Right. It's all part of their mission to provide,
Yeah.
really comprehensive world-class healthcare.
So it seems like they're covering all their bases. We've talked about their financial strength, their strategic expansion plans, their digital health stuff, and their commitment to clinical excellence. It's a pretty impressive picture. A company that's not just doing well, but shaping the future of healthcare in India.
I agree. It's really this holistic approach they have
Mhm.
that makes them so interesting to look at.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to bring it back to you, the listener. We've seen how Apollo is really well positioned to, take advantage of the trends shaping the future of healthcare. But what does this mean for you? How could this impact your access to healthcare or the quality of care you get or even the cost?
That's a great question. And it's something we should all be thinking about, as technology gets better and healthcare becomes more data-driven, more personalized. There's a lot to gain. But we also need to be mindful of the potential downsides.
Like data privacy
Yeah,
and making sure everyone has equal access.
exactly. It's complicated. But Apollo's journey shows us what the future of healthcare could be like. And it's a future we're all going to be a part of.
Well said. So, to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Apollo Hospitals Enterprise Limited. We hope you've learned something about this amazing company and what their success means for the future of healthcare, not just in India, but potentially, all over the world. Stay curious, keep learning, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.